Ganga. The sacred river Ganges is known as Ganga to the Hindus. It starts from the Himalaya mountains and flows through the northern plains to end in the Bay of Bengal. The mythology of Ganga is fascinating. It is described in the Mahabharata and Ramayana. The river Ganges turns the barren lands of northern India into a fertile plain. Hindus express their gratitude to Ganga through their prayers to this holy river. It is said that King Bhagirath brought Ganga to earth from the heavens to redeem the souls of his ancestors. The arrogant sons of Sagar were burnt to ashes by the wrath of sage Kapil. Since they died without their last rites being performed, they were doomed to suffer in hell. With the touch of the holy Ganga, they were purified and got a place in heaven. This feat was achieved by the single-minded perseverance of Bhagirath. The purifying power of Ganga is deeply believed by all Hindus. Perhaps this is the reason for the Hindu custom of offering a sip of water from the sacred river Ganga to a dying or dead person as part of his or her last rites. Let us now hear the story of Ganga. The beautiful, pure, strong-willed Ganga was the elder daughter of Mount Himavan, which perhaps refers to today's Himalaya. She had the power of purifying anything that touched her. Because of her great sanctifying quality, the gods felt that she should be part of the heavens and not the earth. So Brahma, along with the other gods, approached Himavan and requested him to lend his elder daughter to the gods. Himavan agreed. He asked his daughter to follow Brahma and serve the gods dutifully. As time rolled by, a king was born, whose name was Sagar. He was dutiful and loved by his subjects. Unfortunately, he did not have any children. He began penances to Lord Shiva so that he would receive an heir. Shiva was pleased and appeared before Sagar and his two wives, Keshani and Sumati. Shiva said, "Sagar, your penance has pleased me, and I bless you with 60,000 strong, heroic sons born of Sumati. But they will all perish without heirs. Your race, however, will be continued by the one son born of Keshani, your other wife." Accordingly, in the course of time, both wives bore children. King Sagar was overjoyed and celebrated by giving many gifts to the poor and needy. The days passed, and the boys grew up to be brave and strong and were quite conscious of their royal status. King Sagar was proud of them, and they expanded the kingdom far and wide. Queen Keshani's son, Asamanja, however, grew up to be a wicked prince. The king was tired of Asamanja's ill doings and finally banished him from the kingdom. Asamanja's son, Amsuman, the grandson of Sagar, was very different from his father. He was kind and considerate and loved by all. One day, Sagar and Amsuman were performing a Ashwamedha sacrifice, where a sacrificial horse roams on different kingdoms, establishing the supremacy of the king performing the sacrifice. Indra stole the sacrificial horse and left it in the underworld, near the place where sage Kapil was meditating. When Sagar discovered the horse was stolen, he asked his 60,000 sons to go find the horse, or else the ceremony would remain incomplete and the royalty would be doomed. The sons of Sagar searched the whole earth but could not find the horse. Finally, they dug a tunnel inside the earth to look for the horse in the underworld. They saw the legendary elephants holding the earth. They made plans to comb through the underworld. To their utter surprise, they found the horse standing near Sage Kapil, who was in deep meditation. The boys were arrogant. They shouted, "You thief! Return the horse, or else we will kill you!" Kapil knew nothing of the horse or the Ashwamedha. The remarks of the princes angered him. Furious, he burnt them to the ground. When the princes did not return, Sagar was worried. Then he remembered Shiva's words. He called his beloved grandson Amsuman and asked him to find out the fate of his uncles. Amsuman traveled all over the world and finally discovered the cave that led him to the underworld. He met the elephants. The elephants showed him the way to Sage Kapil's place of meditation. Soon, Amsuman discovered Sage Kapil and the lost horse. Amsuman came closer and saluted the great Sage Kapil. Amsuman asked, "Oh, great sage, have you seen my uncles?" The sage replied, "Yes, I have seen them. They were so arrogant that I consumed them with the fire of my penances." Amsuman sat in the middle of the ashes of his uncles. The sage tried to console him. "Amsuman, your uncles met the fate they deserved. Don't feel sorry for them." Amsuman was a kind-hearted person. He said with tears in his eyes, "But do they deserve to suffer in hell too?" Amsuman continued, "Their last rites have not been performed, and they continue to suffer in hell." Sage Kapil was touched by Amsuman's sincere effort to redeem the souls of his uncles. Sage Kapil said, "Amsuman, your uncles will be sanctified if you could get Ganga from heaven. With her touch, they will be purified and they will find a place in heaven. You are patient, truthful, and righteous. I give you my blessings. Now take the horse with you to complete the Ashwamedha Yagna." Amsuman returned to his grandfather Sagar with the horse. Sagar heard the story of his sons and was overcome by grief. He finally stepped down as king after making Amsuman the new king. With heavy heart, Sagar said, "Amsuman, strive to bring Ganga to earth, or else my sons will suffer in hell." After his father's death, Amsuman made his son the ruler and retired to the Himalayas to perform the austerities so that he could induce Ganga to flow down to earth. Despite his best efforts, Amsuman remained unsuccessful to his death. When his son Dilip heard of his father's death, he decided to continue his father's task. Dilip took the oath to continue his father's unfinished work, but he too remained unsuccessful and unhappy about the fate of his ancestors. On his deathbed, Dilip told his son Bhagirath his lifetime wish to get Ganga to earth. Bhagirath promised, "Father, you can rest in peace. I will not ascend the throne without first bringing Ganga down to earth." After his father's death, Bhagirath called his ministers and said, "I will be king only after Ganga flows down to earth. I am entrusting the kingdom to you, and I am leaving for the forest where I will undergo the most severe penances." For years, Bhagirath continued his penances and meditation. He continued for many years until Brahma was pleased and appeared before Bhagirath to offer a boon. Bhagirath said, "Let Ganga flow down to earth from the heaven and deliver the souls of my ancestors." Brahma said, "Bhagirath, your aim is a lofty one, but the earth cannot sustain the force of Ganga's fall. Only Shiva can withstand it. So adore Shiva, and you will attain your goal." Brahma soon disappeared, and Bhagirath decided to adore Shiva through his continued penances. For a year, Bhagirath continued his penance and was confident that he would be successful. Finally, Shiva appeared before Bhagirath. "What is the boon you seek, Bhagirath?" "Lord," addressed Bhagirath, "please receive the force of Ganga as she descends to earth." "I will do that for you," said Shiva. Then he cautioned Bhagirath, "You have to guide her carefully. Ganga's movements are unpredictable." "I will take care of that, my lord," said Bhagirath. Ganga was amused to see that Shiva was waiting to get her on his head. When she was halfway down, she suddenly decided to be mischievous. She thought to wash away Shiva with her force. But Shiva read her mind. As Ganga fell, Shiva imprisoned her in his matted locks. Ganga swirled around and was unable to escape. Bhagirath came and asked Shiva to have pity on him and release Ganga. Shiva was so impressed by the devotion of Bhagirath, he let Ganga go. Bhagirath led Ganga through the foothills of the Himalayas and down to the plains. People flocked to the river to wash away their sins. Ganga, by nature, was unpredictable. She suddenly decided to change her course and go near the place where sage Janu was performing his sacrificial fire worship. Ganga did what Bhagirath was afraid of. She flooded the sacrificial place of sage Janu. Sage Janu got angry and consumed Ganga in one big gulp. Bhagirath prayed to Janu and requested him to release Ganga, or else his many years of penance would be wasted and his ancestors would continue to suffer in hell. Other sages joined Bhagirath and requested sage Janu to let Ganga go. Out of respect for Bhagirath's penances, Janu released Ganga through his ears. Bhagirath said to Janu, "O Holy One, henceforth Ganga will be known as Jahnavi, your daughter." At last, Bhagirath and Ganga reached the ocean and the underworld beyond. Ganga flowed over the ashes of the sons of Sagar and onto the ocean bed. From that day onwards, the ocean came to be known as Sagar. Brahma came to bless Bhagirath for his single-minded perseverance. Brahma said, "Since you brought Ganga to earth by your penances, she will be known as Bhagirathi." Then Bhagirath returned to his kingdom, ascended the throne, and ruled wisely for many years. Mythology is not all fact, we know, but yet in its vast poetic exaggerations, one can always trace an outline of truth. The presence of the Rajasthan desert in close proximity to the Indo-Gangetic plains makes it possible that perhaps there was a time when there was no Ganga. It is not difficult then to visualize what agonies the people there must have suffered without the blessed water. If that had been so, then Bhagirath's task of bringing Ganga to earth was indeed a colossal one, and one that merits all that has been sung and said about it in the epics.